So the question I get asked the most is, should I move to Summerlin or Henderson? Well, today we're gonna take a boots on the ground approach to show you two very similar but yet different products, one in Summerlin and one in Henderson. We're inside Summerlin South. This is a community called Mesa Ridge, and we're gonna head over to Henderson in Roma Hills to show you homes that were built in 2021 and 22, similar elevation height, but very different lifestyle. All right, guys, we're finally here. We're on the southwest side of Las Vegas. The name that sounds very familiar to everyone is Summerlin, right? But we're on the south point of Summerlin, perched up on the hill in a community called Mesa Ridge. Mesa Ridge offers 4 different subdivisions. There's Viewpoint, there's Skyview, Overlook, and the Peak. So basically just different tiers and as well as elevation. Right now we're inside Viewpoint, and we're gonna showcase this amazing property that was built in 2021, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. So let's go check it out. In Summerlin, builders know that it's an area attracting a lot of family-oriented audience. They want to come here for the neighborhood, for the parks, for the schools. So when they build homes and they come up with the floor plan design, it's very much focused on practicality, safety. Unlike some of the more modern type of products out there that you may see towards the end of this video, there's some wow factors that may not be so family friendly, and you may wonder why is that? Because the demographic that they're selling towards just isn't that demographic that Summerlin is more attracted to. So today I'm going to introduce you to my friend and the listing agent, Austin Starr. Austin, how you doing, man?
Thanks for coming by.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you as well.
So thank you for letting us tour your listing. This is an amazing property because when this property was built, it was a wait list. There was a line around the building of people wanting to buy inside Mesa Ridge. So I just wanted Austin to tell us a little bit about kind of the history of this property and its owner, as well as your favorite feature of this home.
So yeah, perfect. Yeah, this, like you said, this house was built in 2021 during the COVID time. We all know how that affected a lot of things.
Yep.
And here in Vegas and basically worldwide. Yeah, so this house is 4,500 square feet, just right underneath it, and features 4 beds, 5 baths. And my favorite part about this house, as you can see right here, has a high ceiling. It's about 30 feet.
Yeah.
It does accentuate, the high ceilings with all the windows.
I love that. The window frames kind of the sky perfectly. So as the sky moves, it's almost like you have this live artwork on display, constantly changing.
Yep.
I love this part. Yeah, this is incredible.
Yep.
So why did the seller choose South Summerlin or Mesa Ridge?
Yeah, so the seller is from Vegas. She did go to Gorman right down the street. So she is very familiar with the South Summerlin area.
That's a prestigious school, like one of the best private schools in Las Vegas.
Yep, it is. And also she does play professional tennis. So the accessibility to the facilities, accessibilities to the areas around, that was one of the biggest things, and the security of the community itself in Mesa Ridge.
So this community is guard gated, right?
It is.
Okay, so the difference, as some of you may know this already, but Las Vegas offers only a few guard gated communities, a few as in maybe like 15 to 17 last I counted. The rest of them are gated communities, usually operated by, touch screen or remote access, but guard gated community just offers a elevated level of security. For someone that values the security of their family, the guard gate is almost a kind of a must-have. So this community is known for that.
Yep, exactly.
And then the playgrounds, I want to mention, because there is a clubhouse here, right?
Yes.
And within the clubhouse, there are tennis courts, pool, fitness center, and even like a obstacle course playground for the young children in this community. So thank you, Austin, again for letting us tour your listing. We're gonna go continue to see what this house has to offer.
Enjoy it.
So appreciate you, my man.
Thanks for coming.
All right, see you next time. All right, we're gonna walk right into the kitchen. This is the highlight. This is the area that people spend the most time in. And the thing that stood out to me the most immediately is the double island, but not like any traditional double island. The owner opted with kind of a 2-dimensional double island with a counter bar height and a traditional counter height. And this is likely where you're gonna have your guests hang out and dine, and people will gather here. You don't need the dining table. You may not ever use it, right? Because people generally just gather in the kitchen area. They did separate the 2 islands not only by the height difference, but the material. I love that different countertop finishes, but matching cabinetry. There's both sides that can fit the chairs that you want, maybe up to 8 comfortably. And then coming in, you have Sub-Zero refrigeration and Gen Air all appliances. This was the top of the line appliance you could choose from when you were purchasing from the builder. By the way, the builder is Toll Brothers. It's the name that's the most familiar with luxury homes here in Las Vegas, which is Toll Brothers. Continuing on this path, I like what they've done. They added different hardware to accent, playing off of the gold knobs on the Gen Air stovetop. The hardware continues on throughout this whole home. Again, two-toned, the farmer sink, the different cabinetry, kind of set this dimension up nicely with ample space. You gotta remember, a lot of times when you build kind of homes with different builders, I'm not gonna mention names, but I can tell you that they don't think about little things like this. When you open double doors, right? And they stack right on top of each other, or you can barely move around when you have one door open. They have ample space here for you to travel through, and it's the practicality that counts when you have a big family living in a home like this, and you don't want to be like squeezing through when you're trying to make some stuff throughout the kitchen area. Okay, so adjacent to the common area of kitchen is this amazing 20-foot slider that just frames the backyard. And extending out, you do have a covered patio, also pretty much like a 15-foot ceiling height that will create, cast this perfect shade. Right now it's noontime here in Las Vegas. It's about to start getting hot, but at a property like this, you probably won't feel the kind of heat that most other people have to endure. And then having the stacking door open with the front pivot door open creates a natural breezeway that just breathe through. And that's one of the perks of living in Summerlin or Henderson up in the higher elevation like McDonald Ranch, McDonald Highlands, is you have maybe a 5 to 10 degree temperature drop. And with the breeze, sometimes you don't even need to turn on your AC. It's just natural air. It's beautiful. The main living area, as Austin mentioned, the 30-foot ceiling, it makes a huge difference. It just creates this airy space that you probably will spend most of your time here because of it. Now I see they do have the electronic fireplace. This wall, I've seen a lot of different models that they feel like afterwards the owners may want to add a little bit of personality. They could create maybe a book match, some kind of natural stone that carries all the way up to the top of the ceiling. I think that makes the center masterpiece of kind of the home. And then on this wing, you do have an entertainment room. You could use it as an entertainment room like they have here, or maybe a billiard room, or a game room, or an office, right? Office may be a little too distracting because you got your entertaining going on, but this I would use as an entertainment space. Summerlin is a location that has Toll Brothers kind of like the prominent name for all the developments here. Why is that? Because Toll Brothers is known to develop and provide affordable luxury for people that seek that type of value, right? They acquire a large plot of land, they subdivide and build luxury products that way, versus Blue Heron and Henderson, really much, they acquire minimal kind of individual parcels and build their semi-custom product. Or you could be an owner of a private parcel and hire Blue Heron to build a full custom product. So I get it. I know you're gonna say something in the comments about Blue Heron and Toll Brothers being very different product. They're different but similar in the sense that they provide luxury experience and product for the end user to appreciate. So going back towards the entryway, I do want to highlight there is a office space as well as a third car garage just on this wing of the house. My personal favorite part of this home is the spiral staircase. This is kind of the industrial, very futuristic look. It takes up a lot less space than a traditional staircase. If you picture a traditional staircase, underneath it is going to be completely enclosed, which you could probably use as a storage, but the space itself loses that airiness, that openness, right? But now you can stage a chair underneath it, or you can have your artwork on display underneath it. But this is my favorite part of the home. So let's go upstairs and check it out. All right, immediately coming up to the second floor, I find this catwalk super interesting because I'm literally floating in the middle of this house right now, just connected by the catwalk and the stairs. On the second floor, you do have all 4 bedrooms. However, when the builder was optioning this floor plan, they did give you a structural option to build the 4th bedroom downstairs. and then push the laundry room that you'll see later into the existing 4th bedroom right now to create a massive laundry room, which I know some of you parents might appreciate. And then on this side of the house, you do have a gym that's currently set up where you can do your fitness stuff, or you can make it into a playroom or a secondary study for kids that are homeschooling. And then 2 bedrooms on that wing as well. The 3rd bedroom here, which I was referring it to the 4th bedroom, but for the sake of sequence, I'm calling it the 3rd bedroom for now, and then the primary bedroom just in front of me. All right, entering the primary bedroom, the first thing I noticed, of course, the balcony. This balcony actually stretched almost like the entire width of the home. Now, right now you are facing kind of the overlook production, the overlook community, all single-story homes, so the kind of overshadowing is minimized because of the single-story layout that they have there. And then what I love about this space, it kind of connects you over through a very spacious, generous primary bathroom. Most of the time you find homes built by traditional builders or even somewhat high-end builders, they do skim out a little bit on the primary bathroom, but this space right here is probably like a full apartment in Brooklyn, and you have to pay a premium for it. And this is just a bathroom. They have a huge walk-in shower, rain head, shower head, standalone tub, the dual sink. I like this. This usability is much greater than some of the other models that we've seen. Just behind me, we have the primary closet. Of course, they opted with the best California closet. They got the island, the sunglass display. This is so cool. Yeah, I think you can't beat this setup, right? The practicality is there, the wow factor is there, and a lot of this type of home come fully furnished. When you're talking about luxury products, sometimes having the designer touch with the fully furnished package is kind of what buyers are looking for nowadays. It's worth mentioning that every single bedroom in this home are en-suites, which means they have their own full bath attached. Now, one more thing I want to highlight is the amount of windows in this home. I've counted a total of 14 windows just on the 2nd floor itself in the common areas. So having a kind of well-positioned home that allows enough natural light, we don't even need to switch on the light switches. Sometimes it's just about having the natural light, having energy efficient windows like this one has, that would just provide you with kind of all the things that you need, the essentials, the lighting, the temperature. And I love that about this particular model, this floor plan. All right, coming out to the backyard, it's fully landscaped. And that's something that you need to consider when you're thinking about buying in Las Vegas or Henderson. A brand new property, that brand new home, comes with just a dirt lot. You pay the premium and you pay the premium again to build out the landscape. But when you're looking at a resale property that has the backyard already fully built out like this, that's tremendous value for someone that's looking to buy and immediately live in. I like what they've done here because this is simply just maintenance, right? Easy maintenance, because you have synthetic grass and then you have pavers that kind of break it up a little bit, and all desert landscape around it on automatic irrigation system. Now behind us, this easement is just kind of a natural element. I'd rather see this than having a neighbor immediately behind you or having like a street. So I think this is the best case scenario you can ask for. The home does come with a built-in jacuzzi, slightly elevated, which is nice. And the pie-shaped lot offers you plenty of space. If you do decide you want to add a pool in the future, this could be a nice sized pool here. So when you're buying a luxury product at this price point, lot size is almost a given. You're gonna have decent lot sizes such as this one at 0.2 acres. However, Summerlin does have limited space, and if you're looking further west, homes built after 2020, the lot size is starting to shrink. Builders are catching on. They understand they can build more home on less lot and fetch a higher premium. That become kind of the norm. If we were to go to Summerlin West right now and look for something similar to this price point and this age, the lot may just be half this size. But Summerlin South, at the time of this introduction of Mesa Ridge, they were building on these like spacious sized lots, and now you probably won't be able to duplicate this if you want to stay in Summerlin. Now Henderson, on the other hand, because you're on most of the custom lots, you do get to purchase a bigger lot or just choose kind of which lot fits your lifestyle a little better. All right, so now that you saw what Summerlin has to offer, let's hop in the car. It's about a 30-minute drive for us to head towards the south side of Las Vegas into Henderson. We're going to drive up Roma Hills to check out the next property. Let's go. I'm going to start showing you guys more and more properties that ranges in different price point and locations. We're still going to stay to our core luxury type properties and informative tours, but we're going to do it in a small kind of bite size instead of a long version of one particular property. So we're heading over to now Henderson, Nevada, and taking a look at this gorgeous Blue Heron home inside McDonald Highlands. So let's go. All right, now we're inside Henderson, Roma Hills community here in McDonald Highlands to check out this amazing Blue Heron home, priced at $6 million, and it just became available. Let's go check it out. The first 10 seconds of you arriving, and you have this breathtaking view that you just can't duplicate this anywhere else except McDonald Highlands. Giant pivot door, signature of this type of homes in the courtyard with the kind of river walk in and out, kind of indoor-outdoor living highlight. Man, this view just takes my attention away from anything else. On a clear day, you could probably just see directly through across the strip to the other side of the valley. And we're at the same height as the plane. Like, believe it or not, like we're eye level with the planes taking off in the air. I think I like the kitchen for what it stands for. Like very much incognito, not really trying to wow or blow anyone away. They're just kind of blending in, utilitarian, making sure that it's practical. You got the Wolf burners. You got the double oven, and you got that well-blended refrigerator, which is something that I think is going to catch on in trend, right? You don't need that giant stainless steel box visible in your kitchen. Something that blends right with the cabinets. It's going to work really well with your aesthetics of your home. I love frameless transition on the corners, right? Because typically you're going to have some kind of structure there that's going to make the turning point a pole or some division, but that's just completely frameless. And this is like a 20-foot pocket door. It's a costly option. Infinity pool. I mean, when you have a home on the cliff like that, this is how you want to have your pool finished, right? Having the infinity edge where it looks like it just drops down to nothing. So when you are up in the hills of McDonald Highlands, to get a lot size like this one is quite rare. Because of the position of it being in the corner, you get a little bit more lot size. It's a half an acre lot, and you got this kind of a spread floor plan, right? You don't have just a box backyard. You actually have a side yard right here where you could do some hosting and completely break away from where the pool is. And I like that. The division really helps people kind of use the most out of the outdoor space they have here. This is a real wine cellar. Probably holds about 400 or 500 bottles of wine. So it's office. It's kind of nice to have a separate entrance to your home office, because sometimes you just, if family's here, they're hosting, and you don't want to be like having to go and say hi to everyone or bye to everyone when you're popping in and out. This is a private entrance to the interior courtyard that gets you straight to the front of the house. Nicely done. All right, so I haven't been upstairs yet, but I have heard that the primary bedroom at this home is very impressive, that it takes up the entire wing of this home. So can't wait to show it to you guys. Let's go check it out. Oh man, they keep this view everywhere. They don't want you to forget why you bought this home because of that. I can't help but to look at the whiskey collection before anything else, but that's just me and nature. Alcala countertop, 2 different material. I like the fact that they really focus on the practicality of this space, right? Sometimes it's just about the showmanship, but I feel like this is actually being used. Espresso machine, all the gadgets. So yeah, for sure, this is an actual bar being utilized. Good stuff. A lot of Japanese whiskey. I see a lot of Japanese theme in this home. Sake, Japanese whiskey. Wow, okay. Oh my God, it keeps going. All right, let's go to the primary area first. So I see there's kind of a transition, and it's being used as a retreat, where normally you see the bedroom area first and then the retreat second. I kind of like that. I think it makes more sense where the sequence of having your kind of office or transition area where you can still have some work before you're ready to just completely shut down. And then once you enter into this space, phone's off, computer's off, mind's off, and you just relax. And again, the view, right? French doors, or no, double sliders. I mean, this is what you wake up to every day. That's the life. So this community is called Obsidian, which is a gated community inside Roma Hill. So you're gonna have to go through 2 gates to get up here. Roma Hill has more of the traditional kind of Tuscan style architecture homes. And then once you get into Obsidian, it's all Blue Heron product, which more modern, clean lines, the white, the dark kind of contrast look. I'm gonna say Summerlin has higher elevation because Summerlin does see some snow during the real cold winter seasons with some humidity, whereas Henderson, I've not heard or seen Henderson area getting any snow. So I think, like I mentioned, the gradual increase in elevation, although it doesn't seem as drastic, right? It doesn't have that dramatic effect. It does. When you're driving up to Summerlin from the Central Valley, it is a constant incline to get up there, and Henderson is the kind of the lowest point of the valley. Okay, so this connects to the bar where we skipped earlier. While it's not covered, you feel like the vision is wider, right? It now becomes IMAX. All right, let's go check out the other half of the primary bedroom. Remember, 2023 kind of is the pinnacle of some of these technologies that they're implementing for smart homes. So right now, this home being a 2023 build, it's pretty much has all the bells and whistles in terms of its technology, the smart home, the practicality of when, you know, you think about what technology does to your life, right? The touch screen, the one touch to control everything in the home, or your phone. You don't have to walk downstairs to check if the stove is off. There's a way you can check on your phone or on the tablet on the wall. You can hit one switch and turn everything on or off. And that's what's been integrated here. And that's what, you know, when you build a home in this caliber, it's almost like a must-have, right? And if you don't have it, then you'll realize, you know, you've been doing stuff probably more than you needed to had you just integrated some technology into it. When you are working long hours, long days, last thing you want to worry about is like, oh, did I close my garage door? Let me drive back and check. You could use your smart system and just have that verified. So when these type of technology is integrated into your life, you realize, wow, I have a lot more time to focus on the things that can yield me more result. I love the color, like the concrete finish, right? That tile that mimics a concrete finish in the shower. I think it works really well for this space. Wow, this is a deep closet. Keeps going. And it looks like there's a fitness area in this closet. So there's so much more to give. This whole primary bedroom has its own retreat, has a full spread balcony, and then you have a walk-in closet that wraps around into a fitness area. Probably one of the best primary bedrooms I've seen. The design of the floor plan of homes in Summerlin has the mindset of how do we make this easier for families, big families, in-law suites, and, you know, child-proofness. They're not adding indoor water ponds like homes like Blue Heron would build, because it's not so much for that type of demographic. Now you're looking at, you know, people may be empty nesters, or kids are old enough that they're not in the house all the time. So they can add some wow features and some cool elements. And that's most of the homes that you see in McDonald Highland will give you that impression, right? It may not be so practical, but it looks cool. When you have a view like this, you want these kind of transparent railings so you can see what the view has to offer. Now that we're gonna go check out the casita, I was almost gonna walk that way because I see the casita there, but the only way to access this casita is through the interior courtyard. So it's kind of like a detached casita, but physically attached to the building. You can't access it from the inside. All right, so it has a kitchenette, does offer the fridge, wine cooler, wet bar, cabinetry, this nice little living room space. And it's great that it's connected to the side yard because you have your own little outdoor space, right? And it wraps around into walk-in closet, ensuite, perfect, ideal for when you have, you know, long-term guests, in-laws, or even children that are, you know, maybe not ready to move out of home just yet. This property is 2 years old, right?
It is.
Pretty much brand new, and it's unique because it's on a half-an-acre lot.
Yes.
And what are some of the, like, your favorite feature of this property?
Well, the lot, the half an acre that it's on is
Okay.
really, it's very rare to find a modern Blue Heron home. This is the Vision model on a half an acre. So I think that's one of the top things. It's also a smart home, so you find everything's very convenient in terms of electronic blinds, sliders that open electronically. And then the other thing that's very unique is it's completely interior designed by Restoration Hardware, and it's being sold completely furnished. So it's turnkey.
Yeah.
All you have to do is walk in. And one more thing that's really important is 1,000 bottle wine chiller.
1,000. I guess what, like 500. I was like way off.
Yeah.
1,000. That one downstairs, right?
Yes.
That is incredible. I mean, we saw the amazing collections they had in there. I just want to go back onto the lot itself. So when I always tell people when you're buying or building a home, the one thing that is almost essential, you can't change it if you after you're in it, which is the lot, right?
Yes.
So selecting the right lot, which in this case, you not only just got the corner lot that's half an acre, but you also have this elevated lot, that unobstructed strip view. How much would you say the value they added with just the Restoration Hardware furniture alone? Like
about $250,000 just in furniture.
Wow, $250,000 in just furniture alone. And you get to have it with this home. And it, like the feeling that she and I are both describing and feeling, it's money can't buy that, right? You got to have someone with a vision, someone with the idea, the concept, and the resource to create that. And that's been done at this property. You just got to come and see it to really feel it. All right, so here's my personal take on the view difference between Summerlin and Henderson. Okay, and this is my personal opinion. I have not actually fact-checked this, but I feel Summerlin has a slighter, kind of slower, gradual increase in elevation. So when you do have a property with a strip view, it isn't as impressive. It isn't, not knocking on Summerlin, but I'm just saying you don't get that, wow, like I'm above the flight path and, above the height of the wind. Whereas at Henderson in McDonald Highlands, you're pretty much going from a valley to suddenly an increase in elevation up the hill. So when you're even driving up here, it's kind of scary. You're at an angle pulling up the hills to get into this neighborhood and this home specifically. And then you look at the view and you just notice something that's different. It feels different than the same strip view home in Summerlin. And I think, that's my explanation of it, and everyone has a different interpretation and preference. I personally think the Henderson luxury homes have a little better strip view. That's my personal opinion. There you go, I said it. I absolutely think that does come into play with the view that it offers and the price point that it has, and also why there's so many luxury builders opting to develop in Henderson, McDonald Highlands, Dragon Ridge, etc. Because they do have this wow factor, right? Versus Summerlin, I think the value proposition they have isn't the wow factor. It's the master plan community with great school selections and the accessible, Red Rock Canyon outdoor living. So they're all different in their own ways. But if we're just comparing apples to apple, where it's view, I definitely think there's more value here in Henderson. This concludes our tour for today. So personally, if you ask me, which one would I choose between the Summerlin or the Henderson luxury home? I would go with the Summerlin one only because it matches the lifestyle that I'm in, right? I'm a father now, and I value the amenities around Summerlin, the parks, the walking path, the fitness areas. That really resonates with me. However, when my kids are older and now our priority shifts, I think my wife and I will be loving Henderson living, loving a home like this, right? We can host and have friends over and have these gatherings. That's impressive. So I just want to kind of give you guys the idea where Summerlin and Henderson stand with their luxury products. So hopefully you get a sense. These are the two fastest growing luxury market in Las Vegas and Henderson. So if you have any questions, thoughts, or any interest, feel free to give me a call or a text. I'm happy to show you around or give you some information on what you might be looking for. Thanks for following through today. I'll see you guys next time. 再见.